So today I wanted to do a video on tips. I went to my hand applique class and I've had a couple tips I wanted to do, but someone shared a couple more with me, so I thought this would be a great time to do those tips. Tip number one. I end up having a lot of blocks from all the quilting classes that I teach. I teach one at my church, and I was doing the elderly community, and I ended up having a lot of blocks everywhere. My friend Melanie uses this tip, so I thought this would be a great tip to share with you guys. She usually ends up having her quilt top that she's working on. She puts them on one of those really, those hangers you buy at Walmart. And here I have a quilt top. I kind of changed it up a little bit, which I'm sure she does too. I went ahead and added the blocks with the quilt top because I still need to add one more row. What I tended to do before is I tended to fold it and put it in a bag and forget about it, and then I end up losing the blocks because I didn't put them with them. And this is a great way to have your quilt top and your blocks together, and you can also put your pattern with this all in one, so you know that you're not having to look for your pattern later on in the week or a year from now. Because sometimes I'll be working on a quilt top and a year later I'll get to it, okay? No shaming here, okay? No shaming. Another way I use those hangers is, hold on, let me see. I go ahead and I store all my quilt blocks on these little cute hangers. These, remember I showed you a tutorial on how to make a lot of blocks on the fly. The elderly community, these are the blocks the elderly community did, and literally I have enough blocks here to make 3 quilts. So I kind of store them this way too, instead of having it in a bag, because my intention is I'm going to make a quilt top with them, and I already have the hanger designated to that. So yes, that's one way to do keep them. Another idea for these hangers is I have the block that is almost halfway made here, and it becomes this block. So I have blocks that are in the process of being made, and I put them together, and I have this set together. And this is another set of blocks. There's a block that's completely done. Well, this is a block completely done here. And there's other blocks in the process of being done. This is pinned together, and then these are the blocks that I do have done, little 4 areas of blocks to make one full block. And I have all the little pieces hanging here in the process. So this hanger here has blocks that are in the process. Also, if you have a pattern, if you have just information on them, you can literally clip it to one, and you know that you have everything you need to do to make the blocks, and then to get ready to make the quilt top. So those are hangers I get clothes at Walmart or Walmart or something like that, and they give you those hangers. Another idea for your blocks, I went to a hand applique class, and I'm doing like 4 projects, and I want to do like 4 more, because a lot of people are in the middle of a project or they finished a quilt, and I'm just an addict. It's eye candy to me. I just love it, and I can't say no. So I am working on 3 different applique quilts. Yeah. Some of them I just need 1 more block and I'm done with the quilt top, and I could put it together. On some of them I've just done 3 blocks, and I still need probably 10 more. So let me show you. This is one of my applique blocks. This quilt is called Home in the Middle, and these are they all go together. Let me just show you one more. Just show you one more. My favorite block of this is this one. So I have a whole set. I think this has 12. I have 10 done, 11 done. I finished my 11th one yesterday, which was this one. I showed you the first one. This was my 11th one. What I tend to do when I finish my applique blocks, and you can see what I do, I have a seam in the middle. I fold them, and then I fold them, and I put them away folded. And I saw a lady at the applique group use a roll. She used one of these rolls. She said she got this roll from aluminum, you know, when you're doing cooking, you know, those cooking rolls. You can also use, this is a thought, your paper towel rolls. This roll comes from my embroidery. This is what had stabilizer on it. I think it had cutaway stabilizer, and I saved the rolls. The reason I was using these rolls is I do banners for companies, and they're embroidered in satin, and I would roll the banner in the, I would roll the satin banner on these rolls so that they wouldn't get wrinkly, because satin is very wrinkly. But I never thought of using a roll like this for my hand applique. So this is a whole quilt that I'm working on, and you can literally just start rolling it, and then you could put a rubber band or something, and I'm not folding it. So let me show you. Don't judge me. I know you people are. You are like me. So this is another applique block quilt that I'm doing. And I only have 3 of this one, but I love this pattern. It's beautiful, and I'm going to roll it. I like this one, and I only need, I'm just sharing my craziness, this one. I need to make, I think it's 20 blocks. So these are called Whimsical Garden, I believe. And it is such a great idea to just roll them in a swirl like this, and they're rolled. Of course I should have done it nicer and neater, and now I have my patterns all in rolls, and I just need to put a rubber band or something so that they don't roll out. But I thought this was a wonderful idea. I was like, oh my god, because every time I have mine folded, I have to re-iron them, and this is going to save me some ironing when I start putting the top together. So that's tip number 2. So yes, save your rolls, or have your kids paper towel rolls, whatever. They will work in saving you some ironing time. Yeah. Alright, tip number 3. I end up having a lot of pieces just shoved in a bag, and I'll make them and then they're just shoved in a bag because I'm trying to keep everything together, because it can get very confusing. Because in applique you can end up having like 80 pieces for one block. Oh, so yes, I know you're suffering, because I end up shoving it all in one bag and then it's wrinkled, and my friend Birdie was making fun of me because my pieces were wrinkly. So she went ahead and made me this. This is just out of all her scrap batting. She made a piece long enough, and I'll show you what she did. She made a big old piece, and she sewed it right in the middle, right here. She sewed it in the middle and made me a book. And the reason this is such a great idea and tip for me is if you have pieces, you can literally just lay them down on this batting and they don't shift on you. Let me show you here. Just like that. Yes, thank you, Birdie, for making this, and I really do appreciate her. See, all these pieces were wrinkly, and now I have them all laid out. I'm still working on that block, and some of it I have here, right here. But I also have these other pieces. There's supposed to be a stem here. Well, there's supposed to be a, hold on, there's supposed to be a stem here and the other part of the flower. And this is the other part of the flower and the leaf. This is a great way of keeping your block nice and straight. Well, you can see that I fold it, and then some areas that are wrinkling over. She gets mad at me because I fold my pieces. Well, I just learned the cardboard trick, or that board trick. So this is a way of keeping your block together, and you don't lose your pieces, and your pieces don't get wrinkled. And I also have a couple other blocks that I put in there. This is my last block, and once I have this one done, I have one full applique quilt completely done, and I'm almost there, so I'm really happy about it. But I have all these blocks ready to be stitched, just like that one. And I have them all together in this little book that she made me, so that I know, I'm looking down, I have them all together in this book that she made me, so that I know that the blocks that are in this book are ready to be sewn down so that I can finish that quilt block. So that's tip number 3. Make yourself a book out of batting if you're an appliquer. Or I also think this would work if you have a lot of pieces, little tiny pieces in your piecing. You can go ahead and stick them on here and you know where they're at and they don't get lost because that batting does hold them. So tip number 3, I thought that was a great tip, Birdie, and I thank you for it. Tip number 4. I went ahead and I got myself one of these for my applique because I was learning how to roll over and iron over my applique pieces. And it didn't come with a cover, so it had started piercing through my bag and I didn't know what to do. Also, at my long arm quilting group, there's a man who made these for me. He made me a couple of them because I thought they were beautiful. But it did come with a cover, but I lost the cover for these. And I was kind of like perplexed because in the midst of my insanity, I couldn't find the cover. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So now I have 3, I can't even remember what these are, pointy things that are poking through my bags. And they hurt like a mother when they hit my skin. So I didn't know what to do, so I went to a Joann's and I was walking around trying to figure out what I could do to use tape or something, but I think it would be a pain in the butt to tape them all the time. I went to the area where they have crochet and needlework, and I found these needle stoppers. You know, they stop the needle so that when you're knitting, it doesn't go through. So I was wondering if these little stoppers worked. I bought a bag of several of these. And it only cost me like $3. And I used the coupon, of course, from Joann's. But they also have them at Hobby Lobby, and these really do work. Let me show you. The neat thing about these is if you don't like this color, you could buy them in different colors if you wanted to. They had blue and pink, but I kind of like these green. And this is a way for you not to get pierced by your tool anymore. So that's tip number 4. Yeah? So don't hurt yourself. Save yourself. Tip number 5. At my applique class, they were talking about, you know how you have your fabric and you have to draw on the piece. You have to draw on the piece so you can do your pieces in fabric. A friend of mine, Birdie, and her friend made herself a board, and they used sandpaper. And you put your fabric on the sandpaper. So this is not my tip. This is the tip I saw at my applique. You put your fabric on the sandpaper and your fabric does not shift on you. What they did is they got a bigger piece of board and they glued the sandpaper on it, so it was a good board for them. And you put your fabric on there, and then when you're drawing your applique piece, it doesn't shift on you. So this is tip number 5. Yeah, and I wanted to thank Birdie and some of those wonderful ladies that just shared some of their tips with me. I was so excited. I think the only tip that's mine is that stopper for that pointy thing that I can't remember the name today. Yeah, I can't remember today. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I hope you like my tips, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Do you see my dog right there? What are you doing? You're not going to have no more bones. No. Get down. Why are you being a bad girl? Yeah. She wants the bones. I got her bones. They're her favorite right there. So, just trying to get them. Tip number 5. All quilters need one of these. I was working on a jacket earlier and I didn't have any of this to remove all that horrible lint that's everywhere. I was using tape. This is the best thing, especially for us quilters. Tend to have thread everywhere because there's thread on us that we don't even notice. Always have a lint brush available.